This video is brought to you by Cracks Only. The link is in the video description below to get the latest gear off their website. Whether you play football or you don't, there is something there for everybody. Straight out of LA. Check it out.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to the full view. Yes, it's Monday night. You know what that means. KG's bringing the energy. Yes. I saw KG dancing as well. What people can't see is, like, the guests can't see, but KG was dancing around. His hands were waving up in the air. He was super excited. Super excited about this evening's show, and I hope you are too. Big up to the panel, big up to KG, big up to Minna, big up to Marcel, big up to Kenny, big up to Good Vibes John, who's trying to get in from all the way from the US. I'm sure he'll jump on very shortly. But before we get into everything, because we got a lot to get into this evening after yesterday's Manchester derby defeat. Yes. Some quotes in the media, some stories, some comments before we even went live that we've got to pick up as well. It was crazy.
I haven't heard anything like that. I haven't heard nothing. So I
meant in here, KG. What we were just talking about like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I heard that.
2 seconds ago. But before we get into all of that, as always, the full view is brought to you by Cracks Only. You can all of the apparel you can think of. KG's not Cracks Only hat, but beanie hats. KG has worn them in the past. You got your t-shirts, you got your hoodies, you got your, what else have you got? You got dress socks, you got anything.
Strip socks, you got like hoodies, t-shirts, a wash bag.
Yeah, you name it. You name it, all you can think of. It's available in the video description below, so be sure to check those out as well. Everyone's already flying in the chat at the moment, which you'd like to see. Click that like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let's get into it. It was the Manchester derby yesterday, of course, 3-1 defeat. It's the hope that gets you, because for a large portion of the game, we were leading, thanks to a Marcus Rashford screamer. But ultimately, it went how I think many people assumed it would be, and that's with a Manchester City victory. Marcel, I'm going to start with you, my friend. Yes. What did you make of yesterday? And also, what do you make of comments that Paul Scholes has said in the media, kind of echoing what Gary Neville has said previously, which is, I've got the quote in front of me right now from Scholes saying, quote, "I think Ineos have already made their mind up. I don't think he, being Erik ten Hag, will be there next season. I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking for a new manager now." What do you make of Scholes' comments? And yesterday, where are you at the moment?
Well, I'm still on the side of Ten Hag in. Just on the Scholes comment, I understand. Like I've said before previously, that I really do understand Ineos' position, in the sense of, if they want to come in and make this categorical, change, and they believe that it's going to take maybe 3 years to competing again, I can understand that they would want to change everything now and lay their own foundation and go from that starting point. They've done good work in terms of getting a CEO in. The rumours for Dan Ashworth as director of football. There's good pieces of the puzzle that they're putting together. I just feel like they still have to show us that they're capable of purchasing for this league and within this league. They haven't achieved anything yet in that regard. They don't have a resume of success in that regard. So with Ten Hag being the manager now, they've got an opportunity there, similar to what Ten Hag had with Ralph. Somebody that's already been working with the squad previously and will know the problems within the squad. Ten Hag has that knowledge and that data. Why not still try and upregulate the quality of the squad that he currently works with? We've seen under how many previous managers that's been an issue. So, in terms of how, on the Scholes comment and maybe what Gary Neville's suggesting there, Owen, I think it's extremely premature. I let Ten Hag carry out his last season, the end of next season, or at least by January, and then we can look at it from there. In terms of the City game, though, Owen, I think it was an extremely valiant effort. I had said that was the only avenue in which we win a game. No, I'm not De Zerbi in Red Baron. I'm not fully De Zerbi in. I'm saying that.
Well, before we started, there was some comments.
Yeah, there was a little bit. Yeah.
I said I'm ready. I said I'm ready to cheat on Ten Hag, but it's from a perspective of it's from a perspective of
you got to drop that in. That's
breaking news. That's breaking news, isn't it?
It's from a perspective of I understand what Ineos is. I understand what they're coming to do when they look at the whole issue of the football club. I understand that there might be a complete clearer. So I have to choose my successor anyway. And I don't believe in the pause word empty, so that's why I say what I say. So I like, for me, it's a thing.
We're gonna do this.
So for me, it's like, I have to still select a successor. The perfect manager for this football club, if we want to go and embark on a front foot style of football, he's extremely automatic. It's extreme automation how De Zerbi plays. There's no way you can make a mistake with it. Any player comes in, he's got literally.
I can't believe you're saying this.
So you're saying that you're Ten Hag in, but you're ready to cheat on Eric Ten Hag.
Move on then, because I know
go
people
home
believe in
and
the
smoke
pause world.
some more crack.
No, they believe in the pause world. So I'm saying I'm ready to move on. If Ineos, because it's not my choice, is it, Owen? It's Ineos's choice. So if Ineos really go with, okay, they want to clear out, my successor, the person that I know would be able to deliver the trophies to the certain caliber, get us back to the top, is De Zerbi. If they don't and they make the right decision, which I still believe the right decision is to keep Ten Hag in and complete his contract, then they'll be doing themselves a massive favor, because it's a thing where Ineos would then be able to look at what Ten Hag needs, one, and try and get better quality into the squad. Also, Ten Hag knows what needs to go out of this football club. A new De Zerbi comes in and he has to look at all of that all over again. He has to go and realize again that Maguire can't play on the halfway line. Scott McTominay only has one role for the team and it's only at bench level. He also has to decide, on a Delo or Wan-Bissaka. Does he like those footballers? He has to maybe decide on a Luke Shaw and the situation. Like, there's so many things that De Zerbi has to look at again, or the new manager has to look at again. That puts you 6 months in again. That takes you 6 months or years of your life, where Ten Hag has shown us, okay, it's not been brilliant, but he's just shown us the pragmatic style of football that he tried to implement against Liverpool the other day. And we were brilliant for our first half. And Rashford had 3 chances. Rashford should have got a hattie, really. He had one at the back post there and the counter-attack charge with the header. Then Garnacho had opportunities. Then this happened at home, by the way, guys. I think we should have won at home as well, by the way, even though it was a 3-0 loss. Ten Hag set us up in a manner to create chances before the opposition created chances. It's just the quality of the footballer with these chances are not delivering. It's very simple to me. It's about an up-regulation of the quality of footballer within the team. And that might even be at the door of Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford as well. That might even be at that door. That's what give my manager time to get to that place. He's still got to get rid of Scott McTominay. He's still got to get rid of Maguire. He's still got to look at Wan-Bissaka if he wants somebody that's world-class at 1v1s, or if he wants somebody to push the right-back position. He's still got to wait for Garnacho to become world-class. He's still got to wait for Højlund to get back fitness. He's still got to decide on Ahmad. There's so many predicaments in the club, and there's been 21 changes of that back four this whole season. That's an astronomical amount of changes. Decimated squad at the back four, and he wants build-up. Today in that pragmatic style against City, you saw that the lines were shorter. So people talking about the Fulham game and look at this and look at that. When the manager decides to play a pragmatic style, the 3 lines, the defensive, midfield, and attacking line, is going to be shorter. But when you ask them to play on the halfway line, it's going to be an issue. And Maguire has to make a decision whether he goes to press Traoré or if he gives him space. And when he presses him, he gets burnt for pace anyway. And then you've got inadequate footballers like Eriksen that can't keep up with him anyway. This is a quality issue of footballer. The manager sets us up in a brilliant way, in my opinion. So a valiant effort from the boys. But at the end of the day, over the last 10 years, how many times have we finished above City and won Champions Leagues or Premier Leagues before them? How many years have we, how many times have we beaten them, in the last 10 years? So this was not an inevitability. I believe that there was a way to win the game, and it showed for 45 minutes. I've mentioned it before to Minna, to everyone. It was the pragmatic style, and Ten Hag executed it well. It's just that after 80 minutes, 60 minutes, the footballers were too tired.
There you go, Marcel coming out swinging today, which is what we like to see. Minna, what do you make of what Marcel is saying there, and also what do you make of the Scholes comments, the Neville comments, and yesterday? What are your thoughts?
What Marcel said, I agree with some parts when we talk about the ability of the players. I think it's very unfortunate for Marcel to actually mention, in regards to yesterday's game, mention players that weren't even playing. Talking about Eriksen, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka. These are people that didn't play yesterday. If we're talking about yesterday's game, I think there was sheer evidence that there is a gap in quality. Because one thing that stood out to me a lot was that, and I've seen it throughout, I think we've all seen it throughout the whole season, Man United players don't know where their teammates are when they have the ball at their feet. They have to take 3-4 touches, look up and scan, and look up again and scan before they can find the pass. City do it like easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. What's that saying? Easy peasy, like 1, 2, 3. Is it that? I don't know. Anyways, but they do it like that. They do it very simply. They do it very easily because that's something that's been drilled into them. Of course, this is a well-oiled team that have played together for a number of years with their manager. But to them, it's second nature to them. They don't have to take a lot of time to make a decision. And that was one issue that United had yesterday. But I think that we've had throughout the entire season is they take too long on the ball. Yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw, especially in the second half, there's no way we could say that United even competed for a half because we didn't. We competed for about 20 minutes. United didn't have a shot until they didn't have a shot on goal after the 23rd minute. In the first half, they were pretty much just trying to see the game out to half time.
Sorry, I know you don't want to hear this, but it is. I've been told in the chat it's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
There you go. English ain't my first language, KG. Don't shame me for not knowing English properly.
Yeah, I can't believe you've done that, KG. I can't believe I've done that to her.
I knew it wasn't right.
In front of all these people.
I knew it wasn't right. It's okay. I forgive you. It's all right.
Because it's American and obviously I'm playing. Let me not alienate myself.
It's all right.
It's
all right. I forgive you. I forgive you. I think yesterday's game, Ten Hag got it right for the first 20 minutes. Park the bus, balls over the top. We knew that was going to be the game plan, and I think everyone knew that. Going into the City game, I think Marcel did say, I think he said we can win. I said I thought United could win if they just sat back and just hoped that City were having an off day. City were having an off day for the first half, but that doesn't always remain the case in games for them. And because of United weren't playing with fear. They were playing with fear. They were scared of the opponent. So we were on the back foot the entire game. Our defense was on the back foot the entire game. At some point in the game, I feel like United just lost concentration. Casemiro lost concentration. Tactically, Erik ten Hag tried to make a change. Pep just countered it immediately because that's what great managers do. He put Dalot on the left, put Lindelof back in the middle, took off Johnny Evans because Johnny Evans was playing with a knock. He said it after the game. Put Camberwala right-hand side, rookie player coming up against Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, whoever it is. What did Pep do? He just put Foden on the left. And they scored from there. And this is no blame, by the way, on Camberwala because Camberwala is a young kid trying to find his footing. But Erik ten Hag found himself in a position yesterday and quite a few times this season where there's no one to bring on because of injuries. And I think the question or the debate we should have is, why is that? Why is it Marcus Rashford, he did that interview. He was butchered after yesterday's game despite scoring because time and time again we've seen this season Marcus Rashford pulling out of 50-50s. Marcus Rashford to me looks like a player that doesn't want to get injured again. And we see that with other people. Rasmus Højlund sometimes. The physicality that he came in at the beginning of the season and the physicality now, completely different. He looks like a player who's scared to get injured. So he's pulling out of those kind of battles. And we've seen it. If we talk about, Erik ten Hag doesn't have his players. He's only had Bruno, Dalot, and Nana fit throughout the entire season. Why is that? You lot already know my stance on Erik ten Hag, but will he get sacked right now? I don't think so. And for me, if United are going to have new structure from the top down, change everything. Change the manager, change the players. Why does it mean you can only have one change? It's either you change the manager or you change the players. Why can't we change both of them and just start fresh from top down? Because if we're changing the entire structure of the club, you don't come into a house, this might be a stupid analogy, but you don't come into that house and you just change the floorboards. That's it. You change the floorboards and the lights and just hope that the house doesn't have damp anymore and it doesn't stink. No, just break the whole house down and just rebuild it. Break the whole house down and just rebuild it again. It might cost you more, but it will benefit you in the long run.
KG, you're frowning. You've got your head in your hands.
No, just because I'm looking at this person, and he's saying, did KG even watch the game? I haven't even spoken yet, bro. He's already disagreed with me without me speaking, fam. This is TV true. I'm looking at that. I said, hold on. I haven't even said anything. Like the 50 Cent. Me. What y'all saying with me for, bro? So, I was surprised by that. I agree with some of the things that Master Amin have been saying, but my thing is, instead of tearing down the house totally, I'm like, get rid of these players, because I still believe when people talk about what can this manager offer, I heard some crackheads yesterday. Someone told me they want Conte to be at this club. Again, you're talking about that's disgraceful. Simeone, another name that I don't want to hear. Now we've been hearing about Hansi Flick and Nagelsmann as well. Like, these managers, they're cool names. They're cool names. But then when I did speak to Uncle today, he was telling me about Nagelsmann's the kind of guy to play mad formations for. And we at this club, already get mad at Bruno on the right-hand side or Bruno wherever. He does that chops and changes week in, week out. Are the fans, my question is to the Man United fans, are you going to give whoever comes in time? And the answer is absolutely not. You lot, like, as soon as whoever comes in, especially when it's a new guy, what's the excuse? How come it's taking so long? What's Omar doing? And quickly, the narrative will shift. Right now, everything's Ten Hag's fault. If Amrabat passes the ball to someone that's not wearing the same shirt as him, Ten Hag. If If Rashford misses an easy, like, on a counter attack, Ten Hag. If anything happens at Man United, it is Ten Hag. You know, there's some fans that actually believe Ten Hag must have went into the boardroom and said, you know what? You see that Reguilon situation? Send him back. I think we can save money there. He's not doing these things. He is not doing these things. The club, like, we have to understand as fans. When you get the new guy, back him. Whoever that, I still want the manager to stay, because I still believe that in terms of how he's trying to enhance and develop these youth, which is important to Man United, it's key for how we want to play. Let him finish the job. We said this guy's got a 3-year plan. We're into the second season. First season was amazing. It worked out. We surprised ourselves. Second season, it's getting a bit rough. But then now everyone wants to jump ship already. How?
To play devil's advocate, though, there, KG, to play devil's advocate, and I don't necessarily disagree what you're saying there, but do we have to be careful that we don't go too far on the other side? So, yes, the players are bad, and yes, when they misplace passes, that's on them. But is there a fair argument? Because I think this is where this sort of polarizing nature comes from, is that when we focus on them misplacing the passes, that's fine, but there's a more broader conversation going, why are you setting up tactically like that? Why is your midfield so open? Why are you not adapting? And why are you making? And for instance, like yesterday, he brought on Amari Forson when he did have Ahmad on the bench. And you go, well, that one doesn't make actually that much sense in terms of your substitution there. Why have you done that? And
doesn't make sense.
He not? Is he immune from criticism? He's not, because sometimes that's what it feels like.
He's not, and that's the thing. So when we talk about the Ahmad thing, the Ahmad tax is high. Yeah, we're doing it. We've done it before with Alanga. We've done it before with many players. We've done it before with Facundo. I remember when people were screaming to the heavens for Facundo to come in and play. Just wasn't good enough. Now the new player that we're getting excited about is Ahmad. Have you seen him do anything good in a Man United shirt, except that backwards header that we saw? No. The answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. Ahmad's had probably as many good moments as Donny van der Beek. Yeah, and that's me being facetious in that moment. It hasn't happened. The people that have been screaming for Ahmad are probably the same people that are saying start Jadon Sancho. It's not happening. Not like, unfortunately, until he sees something. We're talking about a guy that's brought through youth for fun. He doesn't have a problem playing young players. So if he's looking at him saying, maybe he's not for me, even though we would like to see these things. Zidane Iqbal, everyone was hurt when that guy went. He didn't find him good enough. Unfortunately, it's not what we want as fans. Now, are we going to trust him in the one thing we can say Ten Hag is good at is youth development? Can we all be in agreement on the panel that he's good at developing youth? Yeah. So why won't we trust him at the one thing he's good at? Oh no, he's not good at that anymore.
Kenny's making noises.
Well, are you telling
thoughts?
Right? I don't think if he'd have had a full fit squad this year, we have seen Manu.
Yes.
That's the question.
He told us. Yes. Yes, because he started at the beginning of the season. When he pre-season, Kobe was in. So, and that's when people were fit.
I don't know. I think if Mount had been fit, he might see a different setup. But I'll come to that with Martin.
The main thing is, that's the point I wanted to make is, like, with whoever, just imagine, because I've kind of resigned. When people say they're Ten Hag out, cool, do your thing. I'm not. If that's how you feel, brilliant. Now, whoever you bring in next, when you talk about building this house, I hope you give the builders time. That's all I'm saying, because if you want to be while they're doing their thing and you're just watching them with the tea and that, just watching, eye on them with a hawk, and then you change your opinion very quickly. We said we're going to give Ten Hag 3 years. What happened to those 3 years? It evaporated. And we knew where this club was before he picked us up. We weren't Champions League. We weren't a team that was looking like we could be Champions League ready. We weren't nothing. No one was talking about top 4. All of a sudden, we got top 4. And now everyone's like, we need to be fighting for the title, or we need to be up in the thingy. And I don't know what's happened.
I don't know if it's necessarily that, in fairness. I don't think people are necessarily expecting playing for the title. I think the bigger concern is that, you know, it's the defeats at home to Fulham, it's the defeats at home to Bournemouth, it's the defeats at home to Crystal Palace, it's those kind of things. And also as well, is it wrong, and maybe I'll go to you, Kenny, for this, is it wrong to say that yes, the players are a problem, but also Erik ten Hag might not be the right guy to guide Manchester United in the Ineos era? Is that too crazy to say? Is that too much sacrilege to say? What do you think of it all?
What I think KG speaks a lot of sense in what he's saying. And a lot of it is about us as fans. Us as fans. If this season, what we are having now, would have been last season, we wouldn't have had a problem. But we got spoiled slightly last year with a trophy in the top 4. So the expectation levels from us were up there. They're risen. So all of a sudden now we think we're a top 4 team and we can win trophies because we've got a little bit of luck. We had a good passage. We had some good results last year. He started off on the right foot, and that was because we'd had 3 years of dross. We'd had 3 or 4 years of dross with players not interested. And he had the players fighting for the bags. He win a trophy. So all of a sudden, Ten Hag is the new Pep and is a new Klopp. Within 6 months, we want De Zerbi in, or we want whoever we want in. That's football. That's football. What we're forgetting about is what they have told us. Ineos have told us they will choose the style of play that under their stewardship, what Manchester United will play. Not Ten Hag, not the fans, what they want and what they believe Manchester United should be playing. So let's look at yesterday, for example. I told you last week, Erik ten Hag has got 3 games, and it's not Fulham at home or whatever. It's Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. They will judge on how far can this man compete with Pep Guardiola. Yesterday, it's debatable from the point of view that if his players were 30% better, then he would have competed with them. Because we've said it a million times, Marcus Rashford is not a great goal scorer, is a scorer of great goals. And that came home to roost yesterday because I'm not saying most or all, a lot of top footballers yesterday, centre forwards, would have had at least 2 goals. At least 2 goals. They're alone a hat-trick. They would have had at least 2. His first goal was wonderful. Foden's first goal, incredible. But look at the contribution that Foden made to their team as Marcus Rashford did to ours. And I'll leave it there with Marcus Rashford. But look at his contribution in 90 minutes. Look at Foden's. 2 wonder goals from both players, incredible goals. But look at the overall contribution. So let's look at one element of the game. And that element of the game was 5 minutes. And that was around the 54th, 55th minute. For a 5-minute period, we played football. That was the only period we played. We played some fantastic one-touch passing football. And I thought, this is good, they look really, really good. But what the trap they fell in was they progressed the ball too far up the pitch when they're playing the football. So as soon as we lose it, we're scrambling again. We transitioned, but we can't transition back because we look hopeless when we're running back. In the first half, Manchester United was set up absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Take the Haaland chance out of it. They had very, very few golden opportunities. Onana, who we've all berated, made some very good saves, right? We defended very narrow. So we allowed Doku and we allowed Kevin De Bruyne to have the ball on the flank. And we were happy for them balls to come over. And Haaland, Varane had him on toast in the first half. Varane had him on toast apart from the base. So defensively in the first half, the problem was our transition of the ball. We cannot keep the ball. So if we cannot keep the ball in transition we could all right hitting the ball long, right? But when you're hitting the ball long and Rashford's coming back and Garnacho's coming back, over a period of 90 minutes, they're tired. They're tired. They don't have the legs in the second half to do it. First half to do it because they're young and they're fresh. Get 80 minutes, that does not work, right? So what we found yesterday, when we were transitioning, we were so poor at restricting the football, the ball was coming straight at us all the time. And all of a sudden, instead of us being set in them 3 lines, as Marcel correctly said, them 3 lines were set on our goal mouth, the edge of our goal mouth, all the way through to the halfway line. And we looked comfortable. When we had the ball and we transitioned and we was moving forward, we were losing the ball and our back 4 was nowhere near our goal. We were out and we were ragged. We were run ragged, and that's when they were breaking us down. So I think this is, again, but looking at Ten Hag probably did the best that he could with the players he had available. I get that, right? However, if your players are not capable of playing, they played for 10 minutes, check, 55 minutes onwards, we look great, but we just couldn't sustain it. And the reason we couldn't sustain it, because we don't have the quality to keep the ball in transition. Simple. So, and it goes back to what we were saying before, KG's touched on it, Marcel, Mina, everybody's touched on it. Let's get rid of this, get rid of that. The facts are simple. We can't get rid. We tried. We tried McTominay. We tried them to get rid of him in the summer. We tried to get rid of Aaron Maguire. We tried it. He doesn't want them, but he's stuck with them. And the reason he's stuck with them because they're so expensive and people don't want to buy them. The question for Ineos is, do they want to buy them contracts out? If they're serious about supporting the club, it's not about bringing players in. Are they serious about buying them contracts out? So they said to Aaron Maguire, Harry, we don't want you. There's your 10 extra £100,000 a week for the next 18 months. Mr. McTominay, you're not good enough. £100,000 for the next. There, go. Take your 10 million. Go. And Marcus, that £300,000 a week, what we're paying you, right? PSG, we're paying you for next year because we don't want you because you're going on the transfer list, right? And the money we get from McTominay, the money we get from Rashford is pure money. It's ours to spend. It isn't offset against anything. That's ours to spend. So bite the bullet, Ineos, bite the bullet. If you're serious about you wanting to make change, ask this question as fans. Do you want to play football the way that Pep Guardiola plays football or Jurgen Klopp or whatever? Or do you want Ineos to be like Abramovich? Abramovich had 10 managers over an 11-year period and won everything more than once. What does that tell you? That's not about managers. That's about buying quality players. Because a good manager can work with the players. Chelsea proved it for over a decade under Abramovich. Abramovich said, you're not good enough, you're out. And that's to the manager. Manager, you've won you've won an FA Cup, not good enough. Day after you're sacked, I'm bringing somebody else in. They continued winning. That wasn't about style of play. That wasn't about Pep. Now, football.
Now it's. I think.
Well, KG, let's get to super chats. We've got like 22 super chats to get to. We'll get to super chats and then we'll go to John. John hasn't spoken yet in the show. Red Baron says, "Midder, where is Mario's brother?" I don't get the reference. Midder, do you get the reference? It's a shrug.
No, I got Mario behind me.
Mario's up there, isn't it? Luigi.
There you go. Neil says, "How does Marcel accept a 7-0 defeat under Eric?" Red Baron says, United fans, we will lose a City game. Also, United fans, I can't believe we lost this game. Ogwa says, I want to warn KG and Marcel. Any attempt to talk about non-factual stuffs, and I'll be sending the Met Police after you guys. Pretty strong. Nate says, saying it was a valiant effort versus City is a disgrace. We had to sit behind the ball. And what did that get us? 3-1. I'd rather us lose 6-3 and have a go. Keegan says, I'd love to give Marcel a CT scan when he talks. Tony Stark says, Ten Hag can do better with better players, but there is the question not if another manager couldn't also do that and better than Ten Hag. Punjabi Red Devil says, I completely agree. Ten Hag's tactics were right. Ogo also says, Garnacho is not going to be world-class. Wake up, brother Marcel. The young man simply does not have that quality. Maybe Mono, but jury is still out. Milan says, not pragmatic. That was park the bus and pray. Ago also says, Chelsea, Newcastle, Palace, and most teams gave a better account of themselves against City. Eric Ten Hag and these players are not good enough, pure and simple. Nathan says, Eric Ten Hag said Rashford is nursing an injury. Kishan says, giving a manager only 18 months makes no sense. The next manager will still have to get rid of these players and replenish. If that doesn't happen in 18 months, we will get rid of the new manager too, or we'll get rid of the new manager too, rather. Punjabi Red Devil says, need to get rid of negative fans and glory hunters. McCypher says, Eric Ten Hag, a Glazer appointment, same as many of the players. You can't be Glazer players out and not Eric Ten Hag out. Ineos deserve a clean slate and not a no future fool guy. Amanor says, are you paid by Man United KG like Coldbridge on United Stand? That's one of the strange conspiracy theories that we're all fan channels are all paid by these secret clay things. It's always fun, isn't it? Just because you've got an opinion. That's kind of wild, isn't it? WJ Barrett says, I want to hear from Kenny and Johnny. We're going to get to Johnny. This is mad one-sided. We got moved to yesterday, and this ain't on. Ollie beat Pep 4 times. We can't even park the bus. Keegan says, some United supporters are crackheads. What were we expecting with that dead starting 11, dead bench? Get out of here, man. We don't have the facilities. Ogo also says, big up to, he's getting really involved this evening. Please, we need to stop the delusion. Eric Ten Hag is not good at youth development. Garnacho is being overplayed and his game is not improving. Can't have it. WJ Barrett says, City was toying with us. It's what Pep does. WJ Barrett also says, Owen, I'm pinning my hopes on you. We can't do this. I've got nothing to do with it, WJ Barrett. I don't pick the team or anything like that. Ogwa also says, UV panel unacceptable. Make it bad. It's just descended into a rage from these super chats as well. Josh Slaney's been a month for a month. Big up to you. Appreciate a month of support. Says, question about Onana. We all know that during the World Cup, he had an argument with Eto'o. Not sure what the question necessarily was. Show says the way Eric Ten Hag set us up yesterday was cowardly. Then he says it was very small margins, delusional, and doesn't deserve next season. And Mr. United CPT says, I'm with KG and Marcel tonight speaking facts. So look, lots of opinions, lots of people feeling lots of many different ways. We've got nearly 1,000 people watching, not even 200 likes, by the way, guys. So if you haven't already, click that like button, get the likes up. Certainly, we can get to 500. At least half of you can click the like button. So if you haven't already clicked the like button. John, good evening, afternoon over there in NYC. What have you made of everything you've heard thus far? What did you make of yesterday? Where do you sit on Ten Hag in the future at the moment?
So while the incredible panel was chatting it on, I was kind of keeping my eyes on the comments. And the Man United fan base right now are moving like they got bit in the pipe by a snake. Like you start vomiting, throwing up, peeing, just crying. Everybody's moving rabid right now. And I understand the frustration and the anger and all that, but what were you expecting? You know what I mean? Like we were talking about going against, like somebody in my comment was like, John, and somebody DM'd me like, John, you're so effing dumb. You know, Man United came to park the bus. Why do you play like that? You think Man United is great? What the look, I don't want, I'm trying not to get the channel demonetized the video, but what did you expect? You're going against Man City. De Bruyne, my man Rodri, they were swinging the ball left, right, and center, shifting Manchester United left, right. You know how tiring that is. That is absolutely exhausting when you have your own plan set in place and all of a sudden the entire 11 has to shift, and then all of a sudden you expect this quality ball that goes across and now they have everybody swinging and shifting. That is absolutely exhausting. And for Manchester United squad to see what you saw yesterday, I mean, the first half, I said we looked like we were kind of up for the challenge. I kind of spoke a little bit more positively because in comparison to against Forest, in comparison to against Fulham, Manchester United looked disjointed. We finally looked like, okay, we were up for something. I don't know what that something was, but we looked like we were up for at least something, right? They looked like they were fighting. Everybody was bumping each other like, let's fucking go. It looked all right in that first half, despite City pegging us hella hard. And at least looked better. In the second half, it was obviously capitulated, but in the first half, it looked better. But when you're expecting Johnny Evans to be one of your better players on that pitch, man's old. Like, I love Johnny to bits, and I'm not trying to go at old people, but my man's not supposed to be starting. It should have been Lisandro Martinez and Kim Min-jae, fam. Kim Min-jae, fam. Man didn't get Kim Min-jae. Man still has Harry Maguire. And look, Harry Maguire, he's had a beautiful retribution, but the side is nowhere. It's got so many problems. You know what I'm saying? And then Willie Kambala, Minna touched on it before. He came on. You can't blame the young kid. He's just a young lad, man. Just came on. And then the entire back four has to shift because you put Willie Kambala right, and Diogo Dalot, who's finally found some good consistency down the right, now has to go left. And then Victor Lindelof, who was getting tossed around by Phil Foden like a fucking salad, has to go center back.
My God.
You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, now Pep Guardiola, he smells blood. Man's been smelling blood. But Pep Guardiola goes, oh, Phil, my man, hey, Stockport kid, hey, come over here. You was cooking Lindelof? No. You're Diogo, too fast for you. Go to the other side. He had Willie skating. Willie had no idea what the hell was going on. The little man Phil Foden was just all over the damn place. Phil Foden scored on the right. Man went on the other side and scored again. Like, it's insane. It's all over the place. Manchester United have so many problems to deal with. I think the biggest problem is going to be how do we deal with all of these problems? And it's going to come down to Ineos deciding, okay, we have 20 problems we need to handle. There's no way on God's green earth we're handling every single one of them. Let's pick the major ones, maybe a couple of small ones. Do it one at a time because this ain't happening overnight. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, I tell you what, John, man,
There
you
was
said
a
some
lot of-
wild stuff. Yeah,
You said pegging. You said
a bit of the
Pegging's a bad word.
You lot's minds
Yeah.
are all in the bin. You, KG, and Owen, your minds in the bin.
He said bit in the pipe by a snake. I was
That one I get, but pegging is a bad one. I didn't know pegging was a bad word.
salad as well. There was some salad stuff in there.
that one is your mind's in the gutter. Your mind's in the gutter with that
He
one.
did. With the comment, maybe I'm reading the free seats as well, but they're getting crazy. Did he say all these things?
The free seats are crazy, but like he did say that. That one, mine's in the gutter, man.
Crazy. He was getting
Oh,
look it up,
couple of-
John, do not look it up. Just
No.
you.
And never change as well. Never change. WJ Barrett says, Owen, you can't be flex. You're getting splinters. Ogwa says, I'm not frustrated about yesterday. I'm angry about a lack of clear pattern of play and delusional post-match interviews from the manager. Ray Diaz says, here's $2 since Good Vibes just demonetized.
Yep,
Solomon's been a member for 4 months. Says, I just got jumped on and get greeted with John venting. Wow, what has this club done to us? Ooh, brother, we got the sound, we got the clip, KG.
Oh, yeah, John. Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
What the hell?
As far as like my feelings on yesterday, I do think we do have to keep kind of the same energy. I don't understand the mindset of going into the game being like, we're going to lose today. We just hope that they've got to show some fight. We do lose. And for the large majority of the game, we did show some fight. And then there's anger at that when we kind of all knew that was going to be the case. I think you can be angry at the wider picture and say the golfing class, the quality is too much. What's happened to us over the last 10 years? I think that's fair. But as basing it on yesterday, that's not really much I could take from yesterday, to be honest with you. But not that we don't already know.
Can I ask a question? I want to ask a question to Minna. Minna,
go on.
Who do you want to be our next manager?
It's not my job. It's not my job.
If you had a chance, if you had a choice.
It's not my job. There's a lot of managers. The thing is, my worry this summer is that a lot of clubs are going to be replacing their managers.
Yes.
So that is the biggest concern for me. But United will find someone. It's not my job.
And is it a manager that's currently in the Premier League that you would like, or is there a manager that's not got like Potter? Can I just ask some names and if you say yes or no? Graham Potter.
I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to say yes, I want this manager, or no, I don't want this manager. But one thing I do know is that I said this from ages ago. I said when Ineos come in, and this is before they even came into the club, I said if they come in, they are going to appoint a manager based on the style of football that they want to play. If they feel like that manager aligns with the style of football that they want to play, then that just means Erik ten Hag doesn't align with the style of football that they want.
Yes.
Would you, KG, would you back that?
I'll back whatever they decide to do. I want to know how long the people are going to back it. I'll back it, but not Potter. I'm not. You see the Potter thing? I'm struggling. Yeah, that Potter guy.
I don't want Potter. I don't want Potter. I don't want
Can I
Potter.
just, by the way, you can pick this up in a second. By the way, that super chat from Big Belly Boghead Kevin Gary's number 1 fan, I definitely can't read it. So no, I can't. No, I can't.
I don't even know.
I get the reference. Even I get the reference. Definitely can't read it. But carry on, KG.
But no, this is the thing. Like, my thing is, Graham, yeah, he struggled under the light of Chelsea. And that's not even a big light. It's not even Pochettino struggling right now. No one cares. Like, it's not even news. You know, it's Man United lost. That's the main news. So you're telling me you're gonna bring in that guy because he knows Dan Ashworth? Absolutely not. Then we talk about De Zerbi. We're talking about if you look at how De Zerbi's record has been, when he loses, they're big losses. He's not really known for, like, in terms of relationship breakdowns and stuff. You got to look at his situation there as well. Things that we probably go under the radar for Man United fans. Are you willing to stick with this? Because I know that 7-0 has affected, and it still affects me to this day. That 7-0 that we took from Man City, no one's forgotten it. But
Liverpool.
Sorry, from Liverpool. Them things are still gonna. Those things can still happen under a new guy. And when it goes wrong, when they finally Ineos right now, they're so lucky because they're sitting on the thing of it's not really our problem. When you get in that new manager, it's all on you, lads. And
can they happen under a new guy? Can 7-0 happen under a new guy? Because this is the point that people have brought up, isn't it? When they're saying that, again, it goes back to tactics, isn't it? Because the suggestion is that under Erik ten Hag, the way he sets up the team is that the team concedes a lot of chances. And that's happened more often under him than sort of any of his compatriots. Now, yes, his win percentage is high, but the suggestion is the way he's setting up the team is that leading to results like a 7-0, like a 6-3, like 4-0.
With the same players. Let's say we bring in 3 players next season, yeah? And we got a new manager. And this is for anyone on the panel. Feel free to jump in. Do you think we can still lose 6-7-0 next season by any of
them? We won't have the same players next season.
Not the manager. No, we will have some of the. What, you think everyone's going to go? Come on, let's not.
No, but a lot will.
Do you know why we lose that 7? The reason why we lose 7-0 and the manner is because we're trying to play front foot, guys. Ten Hag's trying to go machine for machine. It's like he sets us up to try and win the game. When we lose these games, we're trying to play on the halfway line or pretty much close to it. When we've seen, and all the previous managers were counter-attacking managers. They were playing closer to what we played just the other day. We're playing closer to our box and then trying to make 70-yard sprints or 70-yard dashes to the goal. That's what we've been. That's our DNA. That's our culture mainly. And we're dominant at doing that. So then even because we've got better quality players, we were able to get back the ball and then we're able to start the counter-attacks from the halfway line or whatever. But we usually play within our half first. De Zerbi and Ten Hag want to play football in the opposition's half. Well, De Zerbi a little bit different as well, and he has like a very automated counterattack. That's why I'm so like, okay, bring De Zerbi in. You cannot make a mistake with this manager. It's like he literally gives you option A or option B. That's all you can do in the game.
So do you want
Ten Hag has rotational positioning, all these things?
Are you willing to cheat on Ten Hag with De Zerbi because you think they're similar essentially?
Owen,
move on. What the word is move on. I've changed it now to move on, Owen. So I would move on from Ten Hag to De Zerbi. I would move on from Ten Hag to De Zerbi. Simply because of the way that he sets up the team with the automation and the style of football, you can bring. All it requires is an upregulation of quality players that can do it consistently in the ambience in like high pressure situations.
Marcel, you make it sound as though Jim Ratcliffe can come in tomorrow, right, and say, right, we'll have them 5 there, get rid of them 5. It ain't like that. There's a real world. The real world is that they have inherited a group of players that are not good enough. Yeah. And it will take time to get rid. Now, if you bring a De Zerbi in, you can bring a Pochettino in, you can bring a Mourinho or whatever. Next week, if we've got an injury in midfield, McTominay's playing.
Yeah.
If we've got an injury at the centre-back, Maguire's playing.
Yeah.
Right? That ain't going to happen overnight. So you can bring who the hell you wanted, right? And it's fine saying, well, we'll do this. You won't do anything. What you've got to do is bite the bullet. And the biting the bullet is, instead of spending 100 million on a centre forward, spend 100 million paying off the contracts of the crap that we've got. Yeah. Then start again. But do not keep the crap.
Yeah, fully agree.
Do not keep the crap.
Fully agree with everything you're saying. The process is the manner of in which we get rid of all these footballers from point A to point B. That's what the process is. Pep Guardiola, for example, at this treble-winning season to his first game, or Klopp maybe is better because the financials are maybe similar, or Arsenal's maybe better. From the very first, Ricky Lambert's not there at the club. Skirtle's not there at the club. So the process is getting rid of those footballers to getting the world class at footballers in that can implement his style. Ten Hag is at the very beginning of his process and has been decimated with injuries. It's been horrific. So I'm not saying
all
it's
right, I have to stop you. I have to stop you. Who bought Anthony?
Yeah, of course. So it's a squad. A football team is a squad of players.
It's wasted 18. It's weighted. It's all right. So we'll give you another one. Amrabat. Who bought them in? So they've already spent £100 million on two lots of crap there.
Yeah. So Kenny,
all
you're
right, but you know what I mean.
No, Kenny. So Kenny, you're right.
Can we trust him?
Yeah. So Kenny, you're right.
Can you trust Eric Ten Hag? Can you trust him with another 200 million?
Yes.
Right? Because if he all right. So we're going to get 3 more Mason Mounts and they'll alt it on the bench for 12 months. Oh, and I'll give you a bad one here. This will upset you.
So that's a mitigating circumstance. With Mason Mount, that's extremely unlucky.
You tell me how good Martinez is. You tell me how good he is, right? Price per game. What is he? It's rubbish. Rubbish buy. He's always been injured.
No. Okay, so injuries.
See what I mean? But the point I'm making is they will.
Martinez. Martinez. That's harsh.
I don't think you can make that point. Martinez has been a fantastic signing for the club.
No, he's not. How many games has he played in 2 years?
So, if you're talking about the best ability being availability, he's very short in that, and that's the same for Luke Shaw, and that's why the jury's out on Luke Shaw. That's the same.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying Martinez is a bad player. Currently, he's a bad signing. Not a bad player, because he is not producing on the field.
Well, you're conflating the two then, because Martinez is a good signing, but you just talked about the other players that are actually crap.
Who's a better signing?
So you're talking about good players and bad signings.
All right,
you're conflating the two things. Martinez is a good player and a great signing. Anthony is a poor player and a poor signing.
If he's not playing and he's never fit, how's he a good signing? How is Mount a good signing?
Let's bring him. Minna, you were going to. You said you were going to say something like 5 minutes ago.
I was just going to say that Marcel said that if Eric Ten Hag leaves, he'd cry for one day, but then he's on to De Zerbi. I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
He said he'd cry. I said to him, "Would you cry?" He said, "For one day." And then I'm on to De Zerbi.
Because at the end of the day, nothing's bigger than nobody is bigger than the football club. Nobody's bigger than the football club. And I understand the circumstance of when Ineos came into the door, I understood what Min had been articulating. I understood that as well. So I understand that you have to get over that at the end of the day. They might really want a predecessor to this guy. So then that's got to be De Zerbi, in my opinion, at the end of the day. So
let's get to these more super chats, and there's some news that's just breaking in the last couple of minutes. So we'll get to that before we wrap things up. Where are we at here when it comes to these super chats? Ugo says we need to stop the cult of managers. Bayern Munich have changed 11 in the past 10 years and have been more successful than us. Eric Ten Hag has lost more big losses. We've got one here says Poch got a draw there. Ange went there with Emerson and Davis as centre backs and got a draw. We parked the bus and they had more shots than our possession percentage and conceded 3 goals. Bring in Simone Inzaghi, by the way, as well. WJ Barrett says this is mad. Trying to justify 7-0 is wild, Marcel. Ivor says, can you let John read that super chat? Definitely not. Olu says, Marcel, reflect back when Klopp implemented his style in Liverpool. I remember when their defence was the problem and the attack was potent. Jalapeno says, Owen, United lost to Liverpool, City, Watford, 4+ goals before Ten Hag took over. The problem of losing by big margins is to do with player mentality. Olu says, go watch De Zerbi at Sassuolo and Shakhtar. He implemented a style with the players he has. The fact Eric Ten Hag doesn't work does not mean other managers won't. David G says, we play now identically to how we played last season. It's just teams have had a season to figure us out and we've stayed stale. Sanjit says, Marcel trying to rewrite history. That's 7-0. Maybe the manager just should be saying drop deep after the 3rd goal. Ten Hag showing his naivety again.
Use more goals in it, then it's better to show like passion and that and run forward. Oh.
Jalapeno says, Kenny, Sir Alex Ferguson also brought Bebe, Jemba, Cleberson, etc. Could you trust him? All managers get a few signings wrong. They learn from it, though. It's a very difficult comparison whenever you bring Sir Alex Ferguson into it.
No, but I can give you Pep. I can give you Pep. I was going to go on to give you Pep and Klopp. This is part of the process. They
but
think they have
people will
certain
point
players
the
like Nolito, and then they get it wrong. That's
when you
part
bring
of
those
the
people
process.
in, when you bring those people in, Marcel, though, they go to their record. They go to their record overall immediately, don't they? Mr. United CPT says, Kenny moving mad. Martinez, a bad signing. And Jalapeno says, people that don't appreciate how injuries can disrupt a team don't pay any attention to detail. Ten Hag should be given more time. Nathan says, we didn't play any bloody high line against Liverpool City. What are these dirty lies? Lord in heaven, how can someone wake up and lie? Chat's getting involved big at the moment. The news, by the way, in the last couple of minutes, is that the Mail are running with the story that some United players now are doubting that Erik ten Hag will be in charge next season, with the Dutchman squad expecting Sir Jim Ratcliffe to appoint a new manager in the summer. John, if that is accurate, and the players are even starting to think there's going to be life post Ten Hag, does the manager have any chance, or is there an element of he could be a bit of a lame duck if that's what some of his players are thinking?
Look, as much as I want to stay positive and as much as I want to sit here and say that I back Erik ten Hag, I think the writing's already on the wall. Unfortunately, I feel it. It kind of feels a little bit like Louis van Gaal when it got so stale beyond the point where, irrespective of whether he won an FA Cup or not, he was gone. You know, it feels a little bit like that. And I hate that it feels like that because I think so many things have gone wrong for Erik ten Hag that was out of his control. And I feel so bad for him because it feels unfairly treated. People were talking about, you know, the identity of our style of play looking the same as last season, but it's stale because people have figured us out. No, it's not. Look at Casemiro. If you see, there's still elements of Casemiro where he's still playing good build-up style from that pivot, that single pivot position. His one-touch football where he still tries to play that progressive pass forward. It's still there. But the other element that's not there anymore is that extra yard of pace that he had. It's gone now. He's getting just rushed. Any player coming in front of him, taking him on, they're going past him. And that's not because Casemiro gained 25 kgs. That's not what it is. It's because he's just, it's that age. Sorry?
25 kgs. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Kilo. I should have said kilos. I'm sorry. I'm scared. I looked up the pegging thing before. By the way, I'm sorry. I just looked it up while y'all was talking. I messed up. That's not what I meant. But anyways, my point is there's so many things that went wrong. And for Erik ten Hag's perspective, I feel bad. But if you're Ineos, I think Mina touched up on it before. If you're going to clean house, Ineos are going to take this opportunity and go, this is our chance to completely go clean slate. So they might make that move this point onwards and just say, you know what, let's bring in our guy who we think is the bright fit for our project, and we start fresh. And that's why I feel bad for Ten Hag, because this season was supposed to be that season where we're supposed to carry on from a decent performance last year. We finished third with a credible City, incredible Liverpool that not many teams in the entire Europe's Big Five can catch up on. And we finished decently. If Casemiro and Christian Eriksen were still playing that elite quality that they were playing last season, if Rashi was still playing that elite quality last season, if Bruno was still playing that elite quality, and if we bring on a Mason Mount who can come in and deputize if any of these players, have a bit of a problem, if we brought on a Kim Min-jae who could have slotted in for the Rafael Varane that maybe could have easily transitioned out, there were so many good ideas that were coming in and out.
One striker as well. If you had more than one striker, that would be
facts. Facts. I was sitting in New Jersey. I was telling Andy Cole, I was like, yo, look, Andy, I know you a Premier League Centurion, but I think Rasmus can cook, but he gonna need help. And then, man, we're also saying oh yeah, we're gonna need help. There's no way Man United just should bring one. If we're gonna bring one, maybe Harry Kane, but we need just more than one striker. There's got to be at least three. There's just so many things that went wrong.
But you've got to put that back on Ten Hag, because the signings that he's got, pounds per game, however you want to, Antony, Mount, Martinez, right? You've spent a lot of money there, and the re-signings, you've not seen them playing. So they must, as Ineos, looking at the bigger picture, can they trust him with this? They obviously, the fans don't like the style of play, they don't like the results, but Ineos will look behind that and say, well, if you brought in, what's gone wrong with Mount? What's gone wrong with Martinez? What's gone wrong with Antony? The reason Garnacho's playing is because Antony's crap. If Antony was good, you'd never have seen Garnacho. He wouldn't have got his chance.
I don't know.
If Mount had been fit, I'll tell you what.
No, but
You don't play it. You don't
That's
pay
not
80
facts, though.
million
You
pounds.
can't say that's facts. We can't say that's facts. It's not true.
Well,
No,
KG,
Wait, hold on,
so
wait.
but you
I
can
don't-
see, you can understand that principle. But if I'm Ineos and I'm trusting somebody to purchase, right, and spend my money, hundreds of millions, right, can I trust that man? Because his proven track record on signings is not good. Ireland, I'll give you Ireland. I love Ireland. I love Martinez. But from a signings point of view, on minutes per game, per money spent on them, we've wasted money.
Look, I'll just say this.
They won't
I'll just
waste
say this
money.
just to wrap it up. I'll just say this to wrap it up. Kenny, you're right. I think Eric Ten Hag, at the end of the day, the buck stops with the manager, no matter what, irrespective of what happens.
Correct.
So that's why I feel the shroud of inevitability that Eric Ten Hag might get the sack, whether we like it or not. It's out of our control.
Exactly.
I back him. Don't get me wrong.
No,
but
to be
fair, I also agree with Marcel. You can't blame Anthony was cooking for him. You know what I'm saying? And you bring him with the hopes and dreams that he'll do the same for you, and he hasn't worked out. Not everybody can get it right. So I do understand both sides of the argument. It's just I feel the inevitability.
Minna, just very quickly, we'll go to you, then we'll get to super chats and we'll wrap it up. Just what's your reaction to that news then? I mean, it comes from Chris Wheeler once again, saying that the United players are increasingly doubtful that Eric Ten Hag will be in charge next season. It does say in the article that Ten Hag still has the support of the Manchester United dressing room, despite some complaints over the intensity of his training regime. However, many in the United squad believe it is likely Ineos will make a change at the end of the season. So do you think that's kind of sharing maybe some of the viewpoints of some fans where they're saying that whilst he's appreciated by people, it's just a general feeling that Ineos are going to go in a different direction? What's your reaction
This
to
ain't the
hearing
first
that?
time. Yeah, this ain't the first time this has happened with the manager and the player. The only difference I would say is that in the past, it's like some of the players were always guaranteed to be there next season, whether the manager leaves or not. If this is really the case, and I'm not going to say the players are not entitled to their opinion, but if this is the case, I hope the players know they're not safe either. I hope that's the case. If they feel like the manager, because what they can do is start down tooling. They can do that, but I hope they know that they will be also on the first bus out of Carrington as well, if that's the case. And just quickly on that, I feel like that's why some people are given a bit more over the last couple games. I don't think it's because they want to win. I think it's because they know that all eyes are equally on them and their performances as much as it is on the manager. So the manager can lose the dressing room, but I hope the players know that if the manager loses the dressing room, they're out of the door with him. Simple as that.
Okay, let's get to the go on, Marcel.
That's not good enough. Everything that Minna could be outlaying there potentially, if that is a reality, that's extremely not good enough. And we're letting footballers get away with decorum and level of playing and stature, and just vim that they should have for this club. We're letting them get away with it again. This manager knows the quality and the level of certain players are well below par, and he has the opportunity to continue knock on the door and get them gone instead of going back for that cycle for the 5th time. Again, and we'll be in this.
But I don't think that's the point. In fairness, I don't think that's the point. That's not the point. I don't think that's the point Minna's making. I think what the article is saying, Master. I think what the article is saying that actually the players do still like Ten Hag and believe in him, but there is a general feeling that Ineos are just going to go in a different direction anyway, kind of regardless of really what's happening. I think that's what it's hinting at. And I think that's kind of what some fans have said, that some fans haven't necessarily called for Eric Ten Hag to go, but there is a general feeling of, well, I don't think we're going to get the results between now and the end of the season. And with new people coming in, they're probably just going to go in a different direction anyway.
See, I'm in that camp, Owen, and I agree with it. And that's why I said I'm happy to move on, because I've thought about my successor. So I understand that. I just feel like Ineos will be failing us massively, because what happens if they get it wrong with their structure and how they're meant to implement everything, knowing that the squad is inferior to the top 3 teams in the league already? They still have to go through that process, and they've got data from the previous manager that knows the caliber, knows how to compete against these teams, and just all he needs is a better quality 25-man squad. That's all he needs. And that's literally
they say all. That's a lot.
That's not all what the players feel as well.
I know you guys are all rattled. I know you guys are all rattled about it, but that's not on all. That's how football works, Owen. That's how football works.
I know, but to say he just needs 25 players is a bit crazy, Marcel. Who gets that? Who gets that, Marcel? Who gets 25 players?
I can answer that. all managers do within their process. Within their process, when you keep them, Klopp with his 2 6th place finishes at the beginning, Pep with the 4th place, Arteta with how many in the barren, in the mud. They get that once they try.
In that time, you've got to get results. You've got to get results, though, Marcel, don't you? You can't get a blank slate of no results.
I've just given you managers. Owen, that for the first couple of seasons they weren't getting results, and they didn't achieve what our manager achieved in the first season.
Klopp results. Klopp got results in his first few seasons.
Club in the world.
Exactly.
They weren't managing the biggest football club in the world. Arsenal have been on the decline for 10 years.
But so have we,
Manchester United is the biggest
club in the world for the last 10 years.
Manchester United, yes, we'll always be the biggest club in the world. Always. From fan base to income,
our
heritage. We're always there or thereabouts.
Our reality.
Well, that's how you're going to be.
Our reality is not the biggest club in the world, unfortunately, Kenny.
No,
the last 10 years shows that clear and as day.
If Arteta had been at United, he'd have been gone. If Klopp had been at United, it'd have been gone. Simple. We wouldn't have waited. The United fans don't have the patience for 3 years because it's Manchester United. You've been spoilt. You've been spoilt for 30 years, lad. That's the problem. You've been spoilt.
Let's get to
the majority of fans have lost patience.
Let's get to these.
It's
10 years. It's 10 years. We've been patient for 10 years with rubbish football.
We gotta get to these. We gotta get to these super chats, and we'll wrap it up. Ugo says -2 goal difference, and this is an attacking manager. Ray says, I hope these players know they are leaving with Erik ten Hag, which I think is kind of the point that's been made. Jalapeno says, style of play is overrated. Ultimately, it's the quality of players that matters. I find that argument lazy. What is Madrid's style of play? Milan says, I was ready to give Ten Hag 3 years, but there needs to be some hint of progress, even with the injuries. Do you guys see it? I don't. Olu says, look at our goal difference in the league last year. This says also -2 goal difference in March, 11 losses, 12 is the club record, so he will break it. Same number of goals scored as Luton. What should Ineos stand by? Kishan says, Marcel is the biggest Erik ten Hag supporter, now wants De Zerbi instead. Is that based on yesterday's game? I've never seen him speak of other managers before.
Nah, months ago. Don't try it. Minna, speak up, Minna. Months ago.
Ray Diaz says, we are an angry fan base trying to place blame on one person for losses without appreciating the amazing competitiveness of the Premier League. David T says, think Ten Hag got his 3rd or 4th choices. Just me. Ivor Clip says, bring in Steven Gerrard so Marcel can relax. Lil Yo-Yo says, Marcel, start practicing those tears. De Zerbi, though. And Kishan says, these players have got rid of so many managers. If Ineos listens to them, then nothing will change. These less than average players will decide. Really, I don't think they will, to be fair, Kishan. I think Ineos are not going to listen to anyone apart from those people surrounding them. Definitely not the players. I don't think it's anything like that. But there you go, guys. What a show. Look at all of that opinion. Everyone getting involved. A lot of competitiveness in the comments, on the panel. That's what we like to see. So big up to Minna, big up to Kenny, big up to Good Vibes John, big up to Marcel, big up to KG, who's off now on the Undefeated podcast. Be sure to follow them all on their social media platforms. Go to their channels as well. Subscribe. There you go. Kenny's got the fireworks going on. Just like the panel, it was fireworks tonight as well. Heated debate is what it was this evening. That's what we like to see. Anyway, guys, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. with the Morning View. Arsenal have just scored, so my night's getting now even worse. We're out of here. Peace.
Friendly band.